no good. I'll have to clean my glasses. I wanted to do a video showing you this little tool that we bought. We bought a couple of walkie-talkies. I guess they still call that. They probably have a fancy name for it. But anyway, they're walkie-talkies. And the reason we got those was because I really wanted to start or to restart taking a walk with the dogs. I know that the dogs have even stopped running up to me now with the expectation of a walk, so it's been that long. And there's something happened that made me look at I think that everybody who is paying it, if you're paying attention, I think you will be looking at things that happen and wondering what the lesson is, or maybe that's an old-timers thing. That's the nice way. The nice way of describing Alzheimer's is to call it the old-timers. But anyway, sometimes things start to happen to you, and then you start looking for what the possible meaning is, and I'm a great believer in paying attention. Lately I can feel that I'm not as strong as I used to be. Now this didn't come as a huge revelation to me, because I do know what my last birthday was, so I'm expecting that there may be a slight decline in my superhuman abilities one way and another. Somebody corrected me today, I think it was today, there you go again, saying that when I described the hills in the distance, instead of saying erosion, I said corrosion. Thank you, Miss Jane, I think it was. But anyway, this is what I am. Let me adjust the camera a bit. This is what I'm going to unpack. We actually got these. We got these little gadgets in 2 boxes, and this is the box. Now you may have seen this on Lazada. My camera's gone limp. Please, no nasty comments. I'll try to adjust it more. Where did it go? Limp. I think here. Well, let's see if that's better. Okay. And some of you all want to go back to the hand. Anyway, we thought that I thought that one of the lessons of paying attention when you get older, or actually I wish that I'd paid attention when I was younger, because I would have been in a much better place than I am now sooner, because I am where I want to be, doing what I want to do. But getting a few aches and pains, it makes you realize at what point do you start to give up. Now I watched an interview with Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood died recently, I think, and I think he was 88, and he was still playing golf at I don't know, 86, 87 and possibly 88, and he said to his friend asked him, "Clint, how do you do it?" And he said, I'm paraphrasing now, okay, but he said something like, the secret is don't let the old man in. Now, I've observed that various people let the old man in at, or the old woman, at greatly differing times. And I remember coming out of the army, and I was just a lad in my 20s, and I went and played trombone in a great little band in the Eve Club, which to my knowledge is still a very nice little club in Regent Street. So if ever you're passing there, and it's the evening, because they don't leave the sign out during the day, and it's called the Eve Club, and there's a green sign there. Not quite sure now, it's been a long time, but I think it's the Regent Street and perhaps Conduit Street. So anyway, have a look at that. It's before Oxford Circus anyway, that's for sure. And my camera is getting droopy again, so forgive me if I keep correcting it. So anyway, while I was there was a guy, and I'm sure that I've told this story before. The guy that sat next to me that played trumpet was a very good player, and his name was Ken. And Ken was I don't know, a very mature kind of guy, and I realise now mature beyond his years. And he used to do a few arrangements for the band. Now I say a few because the band leader was Ivan Gray, and Ivan used to do all of the arrangements for the band, and we used to have some stock arrangements that anybody can buy, and we played those as well. And it really was a very good band, and it had an extremely difficult show to play, which was one of the great challenges of being in the Eve Club, is that it was possibly one of the most difficult shows to play in town. And it had that reputation. But I was talking to Ken one night, and he mentioned to me that the Edmondo Ross Club was next. Edmondo Ross was a very well known in England, a very well known Latin American band leader, and had a TV, the Edmondo Ross Show, and so it was a prestigious thing that Ken was offered, and he was offered to do the arrangements, maybe not all of them, but a lot of the arrangements for the Edmondo Ross Band. And the Edmondo Ross Band was playing on, as I say, it had, I think, a weekly TV show. So this was a big pat on the back, a big acknowledgement for my friend Ken. And I said, I was, of course, I was just young in my 20s, thinking in terms of, with stars in my eyes. I said, wow, that is just great, Ken, you know, when do you start? He said, oh, I'm not going to do it. Why? He said, I'm too old for that kind of thing now. I'm too old to start doing that now. I said, really? I never thought of him as old. How old are you? And he said, I'm 33. As if that proved his case. And I remember thinking then, you know, being old, it starts in the head and then it takes off from there. So the older that you think you are, the faster that you get there. I used to have a friend in Fort Myers who called himself old. I won't mention his name because he might kill me. But let's say Old Harry. And he used to introduce himself, I'm Old Harry. That wasn't his name, of course. So you got to be careful not to let the old man in. But it's a very fine line that you have to tread, because some people start getting old when they're 45. Some people get old when they're 33, like I just explained. So you got to be careful about this. And my video has turned into something else, which sometimes it does, because it takes on a life of its own as I start to remember things, which can be something of a slow process for me, okay? As I explained to Miss Jane, who was very kind in correcting me, she said, I think she said very nicely, I think it's erosion. I think you mean erosion, Terence, not corrosion. I said, oh my God, did I really say corrosion instead of erosion? Thank you. It was my brain, it farted. The old saying, a brain fart. And I remember a young girl who was in some kind of clerical situation, and she got something wrong, and she looked up at me and said, "My brain farted." And I thought that was a nice way to put it. Well, so you've got to be careful about what you're doing, and very often we make these judgments about other people and whether they're old or young, or should be trying harder, or not working hard enough, or overdoing it, or they're nasty, or they're this, or they're that. We make these snap judgments, and so often we don't realize how wrong we were until much later in life, which brings me to where I am now. A little while ago, it must be 3 years ago now, Beth and I were directed to a young man who, I'm guessing he could only be around 20, and he'd lost the use of his legs. And you can actually find this this guy, this boy, let me see, Tag. That was his nickname. People in the Philippines, they're very, very strong on nicknames. All of the people that you see, with the exception of Beth, who doesn't even like to be called Beth, she likes to be called Honey. So even Beth doesn't have her name. I'm the only one with the right name. And now even the kids don't call me Terence, because in the Philippines, children calling you by your first name would be slightly disrespectful. They call me Daddy Terence. So even I have my nickname. Well, anyway, it just came up about making judgments, and then a name flashed up, and I thought about Tag when I thought about my aching legs, because I'm thinking, wow, I'm 82 years old, and my legs are beginning to ache. This would be the point at which I would make a judgment call and say, I better start taking it easy. Shouldn't be pushing it. And if I go to the bank and they leave me standing there for a little while, I'm thinking, I can't do this standing thing anymore. And that's the point at which you let the old man in. I don't care what age you are. So I decided that I would have to start walking. And the reason that I decided this, and was not, I'm not being hard on myself, for God's sake, it's an easy thing. You know, if your limbs are aching when you do simple things, you're really not doing enough exercises. So I remembered then Tag, and I asked, when we went to see Tag, he was living in a tiny little house, a little nipa house, pure traditional nipa house, a little house on stilts with the grass roof, which I've shown on various videos, how they do that here in the Philippines. And we asked him, and we got his story, how they started to ache, and then he took a little bit of rest, and they still ached, and he took a bit more rest, and instead of pushing himself, he didn't, and gradually he entirely lost the use of his legs. And Beth and I came away from that first meeting, and we said, I wonder why he didn't do something when he still could, because he's telling us how it was very gradual. Well, that's where I am. If I choose to do nothing, if I choose to keep on resting, if I choose to take things easy, then this is what will happen. I had friends who were at my age when I knew them. This was like 10 years ago, and I was very good friends with this couple, and they were both at the age that I'm at now, and they were asking about exercises, you know, what to do. And what they did was they went to the gym. So they went to the gym, the fitness center, and they went on the bikes, and they sat on the bikes and they watched television and they pedaled away, and they did that for 20 or 30 or maybe, I don't know, more minutes, and that was their exercise. Well, of course, it's not holding the body up, it's completely aerobic. It eventually, after a certain period of time, if you keep on doing the bike, it goes into anaerobic, which means that in order to do what you're doing, it's now in the process of conserving fat and using lean muscle, which the object of getting stronger is to build lean muscle, not to build fat. There's a lot of people out there who are very fat who can't do a thing, and that the fat is not helping them. So because I remembered thinking judgmentally about poor Tag Tag, we built him a house, by the way, and gave him some support, and gradually the lovely house that we built for him, we also got him a wheelchair. We got him a wheelchair, and we made the house with wider doorways, and we made it so that the entrance to his house was completely covered. There was an overhead cover, and it went out onto a perfectly smooth, flat area that he could sit outside as long as he could get himself into the wheelchair, which he could do with help. He would be able to go in and out of the house. So it was a big improvement for him. Unfortunately, whoever owned the land decided that they wanted to use the land again themselves, and so Tag Tag lost the house. I think we need really to check up on him because I think that there's more to the story than that. So I think we did hear that perhaps he had managed to go back to that house, but we're really not sure. We need to go. It's one of those things that is way up in the hills, and to get there you can't take the truck. You have to leave the truck and start walking. So we need to do that, and because it's been rainy season, we haven't been doing any of that. And which brings me to me actually doing some walking and getting strong again, which I intend to do. So I'll be going out and walking with the dogs again. I'm going to the dogs, as they say. So I'll be taking the dogs, and this time, of course, we'll have the GoPro, which is slightly easier to hold up. It's just a tiny little thing like this. So I'll be taking the dogs and the GoPro and doing my rambling, whatever you would call that, daytime meandering while I'm doing it. So I thank you for being with me and for allowing me to digress as I have. And in the next video, I'm going to open this this walkie-talkie. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.